There you go. I can see it. It says live on Facebook.
All right, we did it, even though,
Yeah.
all right, perfect. So, hi, Megan.
Hi, Lori. How are you?
I'm fantastic and I'm super excited because weather is finally beautiful here,
Here too.
right? So, who know? Oh, entered the waiting room. Let's see who wants to join us. Who is here? Andrea and Tracy. So, let's let them in. Hi, ladies. We're going to let you in, letting you guys in right now. I'm just going to mute you guys. And so anytime you have some questions, feel free to, how do I mute you? So feel free to put it in the chat. So down here, you can see a little chat. So if you've got any questions about what we're talking about today, then feel free to chime in that way. Because we've got windows open, we've got people sawing and lawn mowing outside. It's a beautiful day. So we don't want to take up too much time. So people are probably going to watch the replay. So thanks, Andrea and Tracy. Hi, Tracy, for joining us today. So we want to talk about how to put the why back in fitness. And as some of you guys may or may not know, my previous life, I was a fitness instructor / personal trainer. I did that for about 6 years. So from 2005. And my whole shtick with fitness was like, I don't care what you do, just find something fun and do it. And so what I was doing was teaching Zumba. I was teaching kickboxing and boot camps, the kind of fitness that I thought was fun, right? But putting some fun into it, because believe it or not, the majority of people don't love fitness. Why don't people love fitness, right? There's an 85% of the population that do not like fitness, that are completely inactive. Only 15% of the population actually exercises. And that is from 1 time a week to elite athlete, 15% of the population. So what's going on? Like, why don't people like fitness, Meagan?
Yeah. So I find it's one of those things that a lot of folks tend to be like running away from something instead of moving towards something. So when folks talk about goals to me, things that I typically ask, I go through like a series of 3 questions of qualifiers to make sure, first of all, that it's going to be a good goal. Because motivation isn't something that you need in order to get going. Motivation is a result of having a good reason for moving. Motivation comes when it's important to you, right? Like we all get up at ungodly hours to jump on aircrafts to go to vacations because it's important. But when you have to get up at that same time to go to the gym, it's harder. So typically I'll ask people, is your goal superficial or is it deep? So is it something like, I want to lose weight to look better versus I want to lose weight because I feel like I can't be who I really am in social situations and I'm feeling closed off from friends or whatever it happens to be, right? So superficial versus deep. Is it a, yeah, is it
I
a nice
love
to have?
that. I love that because for me, I found that people would move their body because they didn't like it. They wanted to change it.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and that's kind of why I transitioned out of fitness, because I was like, I wasn't enjoying standing over somebody, making them do push ups. Right. I wanted to be able to hold them accountable in different ways. But it's important that there's still people out there doing that and teaching the fitness in ways that, people can connect that way to their body and themselves, right?
Mm.
And so go on, tell us more. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So that's the first qualifier. Then the second one is it a nice to have or is it a need to have? So no one out there is going to disagree with the fact that it would be nice to have $1 million, right? But is it something that you need to have? So a lot of people have $1 million and it's hard to get there. It's very difficult to work towards that, right? Some people get lucky, but a lot of people have to put a ton of work into it. But many of us say like, it would be nice to lose weight. It would be nice to have washboard abs. It would be nice to look like that person, but it's not a need to have. It's not important enough to you. So then you don't work on it and you don't achieve it, but you still beat yourself up for not achieving that goal that you didn't really want that bad in the first place. So it's this awful cycle that can sometimes happen with people where they set very flimsy goals, don't achieve them, and then they beat themselves up for it. Yeah.
So which is really amazing. And that's kind of, in terms of like the mindset and the blocks that people really need to go over. Like, I remember one of my colleagues calling me and saying, Lori, I can't break 140 pounds. She's like, I hit 142, but I can't get to 140. And she kind of knew within herself that she always had this belief, which was a limiting belief, that she wouldn't look good at less than 140 pounds. So she couldn't break that goal no matter, even though now she was like, no, I want to break it. I've been working really hard and da, 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 da. So there's a lot of, like you said, those blocks or limiting beliefs that people have in terms of like preventing them from, yeah, I'd really like to have it, but I really don't value that. Right?
Yep. Yeah. And then the other thing too that people have to be aware of. So the third qualifier that I focus on with folks is it a should do or a want to? So we have all of these external inputs that are always being laid on us, especially as women, right? You should be thinner. You should be more successful. You should be a better mom. You should be a better career woman. You should it all should be easy for you to maintain all of these impossible standards, right? Like,
yeah, we should all over ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. As a yoga teacher, people always say, I should do more yoga. But when I ask them why, their answer is to be more flexible. But then when I ask them why they want to be more flexible, most people don't have a good answer, right?
No, they follow. They're like, they just see what other people are doing and they're like, I should do that too. And it's like they're losing sight of what's important to them as opposed to comparing, which is the root of all evil, by the way, right? And social media 100%. Is the worst. And so the most important message we want to convey to you guys today is find your own personal why, like why you're going to do anything, why you want to do anything. And please, for the love of God, stop comparing yourself to other people. So what can we do now, Meagan? Like, so you're the fitness professional now. I love this because there's so many people out there that do different things in fitness. Like I did my one thing, but now, it's important that we find the people who embody kind of the mindset behind the fitness that we want to pursue, let's say, right? So what can we do? What can we do?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things is getting away from this idea that there is a right way to exercise. Anyone who tells you that this is the right way to do it, run away from that person very fast and go find someone else who's a little more open-minded, because the second someone convinces us that there's a right way to do it, then there becomes wrong ways to do it. And then we become confused because that creates needlessly conflicting information. Because the reality is there are many ways to move your body, to work out, to diet, and they can all work. But as soon as you start to get into this idea of there's something right versus wrong, then it needlessly complicates things. And so people are always switching back and forth from different things, thinking this will be the right thing, that will be the right thing. And that can cause not only a lot of confusion, a lot of overwhelm, a lot of like insecurity about the steps that you're taking, but it leaves you vulnerable to people who are just looking to make a buck off of you. Because that is one thing that drives me bananas about the fitness industry, and something that I'm trying to change about it is that we as an industry have failed people with long term, because everyone's looking to make a mark for themselves and be known for something, right? So you've got your Zumba people, you've got your power lifters, you've got your runners, you've got your X, Y, and Z, right? So as soon as you attach yourself to something, and as soon as you start to get the idea that there's only one way to do it, or that there's only one way for you to do it, then that closes off a lot of stuff. And it can feel very suffocating, and like you're always looking around, like the grass is always going to be greener, because it's always going to seem like, well, this isn't working as well as I really want it to in the moment, so it must be something different. So then you switch.
Right.
But
And there's no
yeah,
quick fix solution, right? And
none.
and so let me impart something on you guys that I learned a long time ago. And this was before I even got into like teaching fitness. This was just something that I embodied for myself, was that being open-minded meant also being well-rounded, right? Which, like you said, yes, run, like, so the type of fitness that you want to do, like there's flexibility. So you want to do something that increases your flexibility. You definitely want to do something that's going to increase your strength, right? You definitely want to include something that is going to be team oriented, right? So maybe joining soccer, or maybe joining, like, I don't know, football, or frisbee. That was my thing. I love doing frisbee. But so just doing different things that challenged you in different ways, right? Because it was a little bit more well-rounded. So not sticking to just one thing, because you can, definitely be challenged in different ways. So that was something I always liked to do, something to do for myself, something with a team, something more strength oriented, and it kept things a little bit interesting, right?
Mhm.
Do you agree with that?
I definitely do. And it comes back to that same sort of idea of being strong in multiple different ways and being flexible in multiple different ways. So, if you, for instance, learn that this is from one person, right? You learn that this is the way that you need to squat, and you only ever squat in that particular position with your feet in the same shape every time, your knees in the same position. That's fine if you're only ever doing a squat in a squat rack in a very controlled, closed environment in a gym. But what you want to do is have a versatility to your ability to squat, right? Because life doesn't come at you from just one direction. And doing all of those different things, like being in team environments, being solo, everything gives you something different. Um, the trick, though, is to not feel like you have to do everything. And speaking
Right.
as someone who is a trainer, I've been working in a gym for over 8 years now. And for a very long time, I felt like I had to be better at everything. So I would look around at someone and I would say, that person, that trainer is really successful. They run. I should run.
Yeah,
That
there's that
person
whole
lifts weights,
comparison
right?
thing, right?
Yeah. That person's on a team. That
Yeah.
person's a better yoga person than me, right? Whereas then you look at these people from the outside and you think like that person's really got it dialed in, but now actually being behind the scenes for a little bit longer and realizing when you talk to that power lifter that it hurts them when they walk because they only ever do like 3 big movements. Talking to the yoga teacher who is struggling through a lot of strength movements or is pregnant is really hurting because her body is too loose and she's not strong enough, right? Talking to the runner who runs all the time and doesn't feel like they have control over their body in a lot of different movements because they only ever run. So um,
Perfect.
yeah,
So
so
I
be
so
versatile.
be versatile. So I want to ask, so we've got, a couple people here with us live on the group, and I want to ask you guys, like, what's your preferred fitness style? Is there something that you guys are looking or interested to try that you haven't, that maybe you're afraid to try? Or, do you have any specific questions for us that you'd like to that we can answer for you guys too? We want this to be a little bit more interactive. We don't want to be all here all want, right? So thank you guys, first of all, for joining us on this beautiful day. So, and I'm gonna, so if you could just chat, if you could type your message in the chat, that your question, then we can answer it as we go along. So anybody out there in Facebook Live land, you guys can put your questions. I'm gonna try to read them at the same time.
Yeah, and there's no such thing as a stupid question because I guarantee you, if you're asking a question that you think you should know, like again, watching that should, someone else is wondering the same thing. One of my favorite science communicators always says, ask smart people stupid questions. And I love it. I'm the first person to be like, I don't know this really obvious seeming thing. Tell me more.
And so and so my why, like, so I'm going to share my why, and then I want you to share your why you exercise. And I know, Tracy, I know you're into fitness, so you can share your why. But in terms of why I love exercise. And I know I'm not normal because I do love exercise, and that's okay. Because I'm in that percentile of people who exercise, but I do it because I love moving the energy out of my body. When I'm overthinking, when you're always go, go, go in life, it's good to just detach and just get that energy flowing and moving. It always feels so much better after any kind of workout, a good walk. And that's really all I've been doing since this whole COVID thing has, taken away all my favorite loves, which is my kickboxing class, my hot yoga, and my gym. And so now I'm left on my own devices, which I've never been that way before. And even though, I've got equipment, I like the motivation. I like being motivated by an instructor or by somebody, even just going to the gym and looking around at all that equipment and seeing different things that I could do. Like, even though I know in my head all the exercises out there, I like that motivation. And so right now I'm feeling a little bit lost in COVID. So I'm doing basic stuff. I'm doing walking. I try to walk 5K just because I know I need to move my body. I know it's essential. There's like, it's like a given rule, like you have to move your body. So Meagan, actually here Andrea wrote something. She says she has a pretty good why: to reduce pain in my back and knees, but I don't love exercise. I like to go to places and see things. So bike riding and hiking are what I enjoy. I also like yoga if there is a good mind to body connection focused. In the past, I have had success with boot camps if the energy is good. I guess my mind needs to be engaged. And this is something that I've incorporated too in my fitness in recently, is connecting the spirit to my fitness, where before it was just all about push-ups and reps and the burn, and you know what I mean, and oh my god, and I used to live in that realm where I would say no to cake, but if I said yes to cake, I knew that the next day I would have to work out 2 hours, where now I just eat the cake and I stick with my regular, that could be the problem. I stick with the regular fitness regime, but connecting mind and body spirit, which is why I love yoga so much. I miss it. I could do it.
I jump in there for a second.
Yeah, go for it.
This is something, so I teach yoga. I've been doing that for about 6 years now. And I also focus a lot on weight training. So I'm not a traditional yoga teacher because I found that there are a lot of issues with the traditional postures, meaning that they were designed for skinny little Indian men. So unless you are a male, like Southern Indian, those postures were not designed for you. And so a lot of them can be damaging. So I
didn't know that. I did not know that.
We don't have enough time to get into all of the problems with the traditional yoga practice.
That's a whole nother show.
Right? It could be a whole day. Let me know if you guys are interested. We'll chat. But the thing is, I've taken a lot of the mind-body connection from yoga and I've brought it into my weightlifting routine, because I think what a lot of people imagine when you're lifting weights, they think of those gym bros that have like the tank tops and the ginormous biceps, and they have, doing reps, whatever. But there's so much amazing capability for you to connect with your body when you're putting it under the stress, right? The good stress of lifting something heavy. You learn so much about yourself if you take the time to listen. So for anyone who values that mind-body connection and thinks that they can only get it in a yoga class, I encourage you to think a little bit differently. Reach out to someone you trust, a trainer, like ask me any questions. I love to nerd about that stuff all day. And I know that Lori is on the same page as me. So don't limit yourself to not lifting weights and being stronger because you think you only really want that mind-body connection.
Right. Thank you so much for pointing that out, because you can connect it in anything you do. You can get that spiritual connection in so many other things, just being present, number one, and not worrying about dinner or, the calories that you're burning, just, listening to your body as you lift. Fan-freaking-tastic point, Meagan. Thank you for pointing that out, because, this is why you want to diversify your fitness, not just to stick to one thing. So Andrea says, I get bored easy, but she also says that she What did you say? I love to exercise because it's a form of therapy. It blows off steam, negative energy, hearts and lungs. I do CrossFit, kind of foolish at my age. Don't be silly. Come on now. CrossFit can be done at any age.
And CrossFit can be done safely. CrossFit got a
Mhm.
bad rap when they first came out, but they've cleaned up their act a lot.
Yes. And so Darren says, I exercise to feel strong and accomplished. I feel so good after a solid sweat session. Exercising is easiest for me when there's a purpose, though. Playing sports or doing some kind of class is most rewarding for me.
Mm-hmm.
So wonderful, wonderful points in terms of, you know, the whys behind why you exercise. So if it's, you know, just to lose weight, or just, which is, it's not just a just, right? So why are you doing it? So losing weight is one thing, but why are you trying to lose weight? Is it a health concern? Is it because you don't like how you look? Is it, right? And this is a cultural thing, because, and it's a North American cultural thing, because I know there's loads of cultures out there that are feeling fine and sexy and desirable with some junk in the trunk. You know what I mean? Like so it's an individual thing when it is that you don't like your body for however it's looking and however it's feeling. And that's individual for you. There, and again, there's no right and wrong, no right or wrong, but move your body because you love it, not because you don't like it or you want to change it, because the weight, it serves as a purpose, in my opinion. Like we all, our bodies, we retain water when we're in stress, you know, when we're in a healing mood. Like right now, COVID, you know, there's the freshman 15, now we've got the COVID 10. Like I could say for sure I put on 5 pounds in these past couple months, that my summer clothes, I'm like, okay, so, you know, we're just gonna, like, you know, make sure we keep walking those 5K. You know, I had a smoothie today, and I'm just nourishing my body in a way, because when we're under stress, um, we will emotionally eat. We will deal with things emotionally. We'll shut down emotionally. And sometimes doing high levels, a lot of high or intense exercise when you're already under a lot of stress isn't necessarily the best thing for you, right? So, you know, that's why people are just like bunkering down and just taking it easy and, you know, getting back. Find the feminine in fitness, if you know what that means. Like, you know, the masculine is really a lot about change and push, and, you know, that's really good, that really serves a purpose. But I think if we look to find the femininity in fitness, and the sensuality and the love and the gentleness and the purpose behind fitness, then I think that, you know, then we can embody more of who we are and what it is that we're doing and why we're doing it, if that makes sense. Right. And so how would you recommend that, you know, we go about doing that, Meagan?
Yeah. So I always like to look at it, because we extend a lot of grace to other people that we do not allow ourselves to have. We give people the benefit of the doubt, and we like to think better of others and talk more gently to them than we often do to ourselves. So I want to just put it in context of, think of a kid, right? Like, whether or not you have children. I do not have children, but I have them in my life, and I once was a child, so I have some experience with this. If you're trying to teach a kid how to do something, which do you think is going to work better, right? So kids, say, struggling with math. A lot of people struggle with math. I did for a long time. Is this going to work? You'd better do it. You'd better learn it, because you're going to be stupid if you don't. You're already disappointing me. How do you not already know this? Et cetera, right? How good of a reaction do you think you're going to get out of that kid? Sure. And you know what? Maybe they will get really good at math, but they're going to need a lot of therapy when they're older.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, look, buddy, I know this is really tough right now, but I believe that you can do it. And sometimes things are harder for us than they are for other people. But if you really want to work it, let's find some ways that, you know, this is going to help you in the future. And I think you can do it. You know, I believe in you. It's tough, but you can try, and I'm here for you. That kid's probably gonna, yeah.
So are those the kind of techniques and stuff that you offer and provide in your program?
100%, right? Because what I've learned out of 8 years of doing this with a huge variety of people, and with myself as well, if you cannot generate kindness and compassion and love for yourself and appreciation for yourself when you are in the state that you are now. So whether it's weight loss or strength gain or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve in the future, if you cannot generate that for yourself now, you will not have it later. So that's what I really try to impart to people is when I'm teaching them how to work for a goal and when I'm teaching them how to strive for something, it's also about in yoga, we have a term called santosha, which means contentment, right? It's not complacency. So you don't have to say, everything is fine. I'm not going to try and change anything, right? I'm not cool with that. The world would be a really boring and lame place, right? But what you say is, I acknowledge where I am right now. I'm going to appreciate myself in this position that I am at this very moment because there's very little you can do to change yourself in that second, right? You are where you are.
It is what it is. You can't blink it away. Yeah.
You still work towards that other thing. You give yourself a stable platform to stand on, to start from, then you can go further. What people often do is they undermine themselves, they erode their platform they stand on, they get used to being unhappy with themselves, they get used to finding things that are wrong with themselves. And what's going to happen when you lose those 10 pounds? You're used to finding things that are wrong with yourself, right? I've had so many clients that have been successful with weight loss. They still aren't happy. They still can't figure out how to be happy. So,
yes, because it's not about the weight, right? It's about how you're feeling about you and your body. And that weight is technically just a symptom, right?
Yep.
But, you know, working towards that and doing something and coming from a place of kindness for yourself. And I went through some exercises to myself because after transitioning from fitness to just mindset coaching and not maintaining that level of fitness, obviously my body started to change and I was hard on myself. And one of the things that I was taught and I went through in terms of like being more accepting of my body and all its voluptuousness now is asking my body how it wants to feel today, because we forget we are a spirit in a meat suit. This is just a shell. Our body is a metaphor for our life. So
and it's temporary.
That's right. And it can change. And so because we can't blink it and change it, like ask your body how it wants to feel today. It's its own little entity and it will tell you, I want to feel loved today. It's like, okay, body, I love you. Like be grateful for it too. Like it does so much for us when we're sleeping, when we're not thinking about it. It's pumping blood. It's, you know, filtering all those cocktails you're going to be drinking this summer. Think about being grateful for your liver. That's going to filter all of that. Right. And it's keeping you healthy and it's doing all these things for us. So remembering that your body is, you know, serving a purpose for your spirit. And so the more you can take care of it and love it and be gentle with it, the more your spirit is going to shine through, the more you can be authentic for yourself, right? Like, so Meagan, after someone goes through your program, like how are they feeling? How are they loving life again? Like what are some of your clients saying? Because I'm going to share the link of your program right now, because then everybody can have access to learning more about what it is that you do. Because I think it's so important.
So my program, I call it the Mind Body Overwhelm Solution. And what I really strive to teach people is I want to give you the ability to be responsible for yourself and not to depend on whatever fads are out there, whatever someone else tells you. So I teach you the basics, which are not basics, right? They're foundations. So the foundations of like all of the workouts that you've ever done in your entire life are a combination of 6 different movements. So we've got squat, lunge, bend, push, pull, twist. 6 things make up every single thing that you do in your whole day.
Simplify. Yes.
And walking. Walking too, but people usually have walking down when they come to me. So I teach you those 6 things, right? That's something the fitness industry doesn't teach you, because when you have someone who's confused and doesn't know what to do, they're going to give you more money, which drives me bananas, right? So when you finish with me, you're going to know about working out. You're going to know about diets. You're going to understand that all diets have similar components to those movements, right? They all have their foundational principles. Once you learn the principles, then you can choose a strategy that works for you. all of the experience that you've had with all the other workouts out there, whether you do Zumba or kickboxing or CrossFitting or marathon or yoga, whatever, these principles apply to all of that stuff. So my goal is to take away the overwhelm, to take away the confusion, and to give people back control over the decisions that they can make for themselves, for their long-term health, so that in 6 months and a year, when I talk to people down the road, they're still feeling safe and secure, because what I've done is I've taught you to fish. I haven't just given you a fish, right? There's that idea of like, I just need this program in this box and this will fix all my problems. But we've talked about that, right? You need versatility. So I teach you how to be versatile, and it takes stress off of people. It removes a lot of the self-doubt, because it also explains why you haven't been successful up to this point. Because for a very, very long time, the industry has not been there for consumers' long-term success. Mm-hmm. Right? Our capitalist society, and this could be a whole nother rant. We'll do a rant for yoga day and a rant for capitalism day. But like,
right.
people are like, you know, we've had that planned obsolescence with phones, right? Your phone is only good for 4 or 5 years, then you have to get a new one. Workouts are the same, and it shouldn't be that way. So my purpose is to be able to make you responsible for yourself and to feel confident in the decisions that you make for your health and well-being. And once you take away that, motivation is less of a problem. Procrastination is less of a problem. Emotional eating is less of a problem, because you understand what's going on. It's not a reaction, it's an action that you choose. So that's my goal, and that's what I really strive to do for people. Women, I work mostly with women, because man, I have a lot of experience being a woman, and it's tough. It sucks, man. And like, I also want to just put out there, like, I'm a personal trainer, but I was the shy, introverted arts kid in school, right? I'm a quiet person. I'm not, you know, super gym bro. I work out. My why is because the gym helps me have a fun time canoeing or gardening, or it allows me to sit on a couch for a whole day and read without being really sore afterwards, right? Like, those are the things that I value. I don't work out so that I can say that I worked out. I work out so that I can leave the gym and go enjoy the rest of my life. And those are the people that I work well with.
Yeah, because it makes things easier, right? The better in shape you are, obviously, it makes life easier. If that isn't enough of a reason to frickin' move your friggin' body right now, is that if you're feeling like things are hard, move your body. It will make things so much easier. Thinking easier, feeling easier, you know, moving easier, you know, just everything flows better when that energy, when you've got that energy flowing, right? Instead of doing nothing. And then when you try to do something, it's like you have to move through rigor mortis.
Yep. And realistically, if you look at the human body, whether you believe in God or evolution or however our physical form came to be, the facts are undeniable. Like, we have joints that are designed to do better when they move. We have our lymphatic system. It doesn't have a pump like our blood does, right? So all of our lymph nodes are in the big joints of our body. So when you contract and extend, that moves the lymph through the system. Like, all of these toxins that people are trying to get rid of with smoothies and pills and stuff, all you have to do is move, and your liver and your kidneys and all of these things that are inherent within our bodies take care of this. Like, we thrive under movement. So it's just like, it sucks to get started. I get it. Like, it hurts, but it doesn't have to be that way forever. And you don't have to go all or nothing. That's the other big thing that I work
Yes, you can start small, right?
Yeah.
Just, you know, or just increase a little bit what you're doing. So if you're already walking, walk a little farther or walk a little faster, right? So
walk up a hill, right? Go up the stairs. And a lot of folks, I find too, get stuck in this idea of like, oh, well, I haven't done it already and I have so far to go. What's the point of starting now when I should have started 5 years ago? But my favorite thing that keeps me going on this is a Chinese proverb. So the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now, because I can guarantee you in 5 years and 10 years, you're still going to wish you had started today, like your current self wishes you had started in the past. So you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for your future you, right? So remember, the second best time to plant a tree is now, or right now, or even right now, right? You didn't have to do it 5 years or 10 years or 5 minutes ago.
Well, perfect. That was a great proverb to end on. Do any of you guys have any more questions for me or Meagan that we can answer for you guys or clarify for you guys? Because we really appreciate you guys spending the last half an hour or so with us. I put the link for Meagan's information and program in the chat, so you can go there and find the chat for that. And perfect. And so maybe I'll unmute everybody. And so, and we'll just go and ask. So thank you. Like that, unmute. Andrea, I'm trying to unmute you, but it won't unmute you. And so Tracy, what was an aha for you that you got out of this today?
Well, gosh, I'm still sort of absorbing it all, but just how much fitness is sort of related to functional fitness, and how it, two things, I guess, that it relates to like your emotional health as well as your physical health. And God, I forgot the second point now.
Hey, think about it. Andrea, tell us, what was your biggest aha or point that you got out of today's chat?
Well, I guess I had never really thought about, you know, I knew I didn't love exercising, that I liked doing certain things more than other things, but I never really thought about why. But, you know, it just sort of made me think about like, yeah, that mind stimulation is really important to me. So I really need to do something that engages my mind at the same time as I'm exercising. Otherwise, there's always going to be, for me, a reason not to do it, because I'm more of a cerebral person than
Perfect. So now you can reach out to Meagan separately after this, and she can maybe help you get more into that.
I love to nerd. So if
Yeah.
you're interested
I love to
in learning a little bit more, I will tell you way too much information.
Perfect. And Darren, what about you? Any ahas, or what was the best thing that you took away from today?
I think I agree with Tracy as well, like in terms of body functionality. Thinking about fitness more in that vein, I guess. I played a lot of sports growing up, so I'd never really thought about, you know, what my body can't do, and because I was always just moving and playing different sports. But as I'm getting older, and I finished university now, and I have slowed down a little bit more, and I took my dog on like a 1-hour walk, and I'm like, I am exhausted. So it would be nice to, you know, get my fitness back up to where I'd like it to be, so that I can do all the things that I wanted to do and I've been doing. So that's,
yeah. And, you know, definitely remember to honor where you are right now, Darren, because trust me, like, I'm going to be 45 this year. Being a past fitness instructor, I don't know if I'm ever going to get back to that level of fitness. It might be different. Like I might get, but it's going to be different. And I have to be okay with that. Like, I'm not going to be teaching 7 Zumba classes a week, right? Anymore. Like, you know, my body's like, fuck that, Lori. Like, we're done with that. Like, do something else. Like, we've shimmied and shaked enough, right? So my body likes walking right now. So perfect. So just remember to love and honor yourself where you're at. And if you want more information, by all means, reach out to Meagan or myself, as we can, help you kind of just be okay with where you're at right now. It's okay, right? Like, university, you still have a long way to go in terms of, getting older. And look at Tracy, she's doing CrossFit at
54.
Yeah, 54. Look at her, she looks like a teenager. Like, she's hilarious.
Right? But that is one thing I learned when I got older, is that I was always chasing this impossible look, that I just know that I'll never have the perfect figure that I always wanted. And then one day, sometime in my like early when I turned 50, about then, I stopped doing that, and I was just thanking my body every day for still being able to like jump over puddles and move a refrigerator if I have to. So I just learned how to appreciate my body for all the strong things that it can do, rather than how it looks. That I still can pinch an inch here and there. So that was.
I think we're always going to be pinching inches. Like, we have skin.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But women have a tough standard to try to, we should just let go of all that perfect.
It's an impossible standard.
It is. And I was chasing it for years. It's just a huge waste of time.
Yeah. Love and accept yourself for where you're at. And just moving forward, and just keep moving. Just keep doing things like, like you were saying, making the next best choice. So like, and this is a whole nother show too about, treating yourself and whatever else. And sometimes, how that works in reverse. Right. And just being okay. And that tomorrow's a new day, and today's a new day. And this afternoon we can go out, enjoy the sunshine, which we should go do right now. So let's wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for joining us, because I think we could go on and on and on forever about this, because we love it so much. But I'm going to let you guys get back to your day. So thanks so much. And we'll see you next Friday with a whole nother show and a whole nother topic and a whole nother guest. So thanks guys for joining me.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
So I feel like, okay, perfect. Everyone's off now except for us.
And then we're
So I'm gonna, I don't know how to, here, we're gonna do this.